Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Book Reviews with Mr. Elrod. Today we're going to be taking a look at a book that was written in 2012 and has become a popular movie, although it was in the last couple of years, directed by Steven Spielberg, and that is Ready Player One. Alright, so we'll just kind of get some things out of the way. I am personally not a fan of some of the more modern young adult fiction novels that are out there. I will say that I have not read the Harry Potter series. I read one book of the Hunger Games. I take it back. I watched the movie Paper Towns by John Green. Generally, I'm not terribly a big fan of that particular genre of literature for a couple of reasons. Number one of which is in a lot of these, basically what you have is a bunch of dumb adults who don't know how to handle life or society, and you've got the young teen that comes in and saves things, Katniss Everdeen style. I will say that when I read The Hunger Games, I read the first one. This is actually back when my first kid was born. The book was purchased for me, I guess, to pass the time while we were in the hospital, while my wife was recovering and things like that. And as soon as I read the book, I'm not sure if I told my wife or not, but I turned around and I said, this book is going to get made into a movie. You can just tell by the way it was written. I almost felt like the author wrote the book in hopes that she might get a contract, some sort of movie contract, and lo and behold, it was made into a movie. So that's really one of my big beefs with current young adult fiction. Mostly, kind of the expression of this idea that adults don't know how to handle the world, and really we need to hand it over to teenagers, which I guess is the appeal of the young adult fiction, which is fine. I just, I find it kind of annoying. So anyway, that's just generally how I feel about some of the modern young adult fiction. I have not read Harry Potter simply because I haven't really cared to read Harry Potter. Maybe you know what? Maybe for one of these, just for the sake of doing a book review, I'll read the Harry Potter stuff. So anyhow, that's kind of my mindset going into Ready Player One. So anyway, I like some of the other books we've talked about, I didn't actually read Ready Player One. I listened to Ready Player One. And the reason for that is because it was a popular book. I saw some students around school reading it. So, I figured, what the heck? Maybe we'll see what they're reading, see kind of what kids are into, see what the big fuss is about. The movie looked kind of interesting based on the previews. I have not seen the movie either. So I downloaded the book through my RB Digital app from my local library, although I do think that there was a wait list for it, maybe. And so I listened to it. I will say, though, at the very beginning, I was kind of annoyed with a couple of things. Number one, same situation. Got a teenager. I don't know if he's got all figured out, but certainly, the adults in his life, except for the one lady who dies that he really likes, that Wade really likes. I guess just, no good adult in his life. Anyway, the other thing that bothers me in some of these books is some of the language and some of the innuendo that's in there that I don't necessarily... Myself, as a father, I would not want my young teenager reading those things. Now, obviously, as they get older, they can make some of their own decisions. They're a little bit more mature, but, I don't necessarily know that it moves the book along any better. I don't know necessarily that it's necessary for that stuff to be in the book to make it any better. So that kind of stuff is frustrating to me. As a father, as an adult, and someone who's reading these books. The other thing is that as the reader of the book was Will Wheaton. And to be honest with you, I'm not terribly familiar with Will Wheaton, except for the part that he plays on The Big Bang Theory. I've seen that. I will say that his voice was pretty annoying. as you went through the book. Now, you might say, Mr. Allard, your voice is annoying. That's fine. My videos are only, 10 to 15 minutes apiece. This was hours and hours and hours of a book. And so that kind of grated on my nerves. So clearly I could have avoided that and overcome it if I had read the book, which is fine. All that's fine. So the story, I will say it's a decent story. Once I got beyond some of my initial issues with it, I thought that the story was pretty well told. You get, it's the typical stuff where the hero of the story is able to figure things out that nobody else is able to figure out. I mean, this kid Wade is able to beat all of the stuff in the game or the simulation or whatever, where all these adults can't figure out. You've got this company, this corporation that's got untold resources and manpower and money and all this kind of stuff. They have a hard time finding the kid. He's a kid that outsmarts them all. He is able to run away from them and hide for however many years he does that, or is it a year? He's able to infiltrate their company and find a back way into their system, and find out the information that he needs, and then get out without being detected. He's able to figure out all the puzzles, all the riddles. I wonder when the kid eats. Like, I'm reading the book, and Wade is logged into the game the whole time. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, he's super poor. He's starting out, he's super poor. He gets money towards the end. Even when he gets money, he never leaves his room. But in the beginning, he's sitting in that abandoned car that he finds. What he eats, he lives on granola bars. And so and obviously you just assume that they're eating, but especially at the beginning, there's this real concerted effort to make you understand that he doesn't have a whole lot, and he has his oasis hookup and all that kind of stuff is because he's in school and all these other kinds of things. But I'm supposed to believe that he sits in this car and subsides off of granola bars, I guess. So to me, those are some things that are missing, and you might say that I'm just being nitpicky. Fine, whatever. But this is my review of the book. If you want to do your own, you can. I felt like as the story went along, the story got better. You start to see some different types of interactions between Wade. They're not necessarily between Wade and his friends. They're not all positive. Some things kind of go up and go down. Of course, there's the obligatory romantic element within the young adult fiction, which is fine. I was okay with that as far as the way that he builds that, and so that was fine. But the story I thought got more interesting as you went on. I like the end battle scene, and kind of some of the challenges that were there. The easy way out, becoming Ultraman. Thought that was kind of the easy way out of things. But anyway, so yeah, you gotta end the book somehow, and so why not with that? Overall, not a bad book, not a bad story. I would prefer that over the Hunger Games. I'm sure the movie's pretty good. In fact, make me interested to see the movie. Aside from some of those other things, the biggest issue I have is with the content that some of these writers put into the young adult fiction that I wish that they would leave out. Maybe if their target audience is like 17, 18, 19, sure, fine. But if it's any younger than that, I think some of those things just need to get left out because I just don't think it's appropriate for kids of that age. Certainly makes me more aware as an adult and as a father to make sure I'm mindful of the things that my kids are reading, making sure I'm kind of checking things out and not just leaving it up to them and popular culture to let them know what is good and what isn't. Would I recommend Ready Player One? Sure. It's an entertaining read. Probably only to kids who are a little bit older, like I said, because of some of that stuff. And it's only short little things in there. And so again, that's why I question whether or not it's even necessary to put it into the book. And again, it's entertaining. It's got interest. So I will say one of the I've never had that happen before. I got a phone call right in the middle of all this, and apparently when I have this open, it'll cut me off. I will say that I've gotten untold numbers of I assume they're spam phone calls because I don't know who they are. I don't get many phone calls from people that I know. So, I mean, just whole lists. Atlanta, Toronto, Phoenix, Bowden, Georgia, Denver, Colorado, Franklin Park, Illinois, Conyers, Georgia, Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Maybe that was Ray Dalio trying to get a hold of me. But anyway, so would I recommend the book? Sure. It's an entertaining read. If you don't have to listen to Will Wheaton's voice, that's probably a plus. It's got some of those predictable elements in it, which I guess is kind of the formula for young adult fiction. Teenage hero, incapable adults, teenager needs to come in and save everyone and everything, love interest of some kind. So that seems to be and the young the teenager that saves it all comes from nowhere. Comes from a nondescript background, i.e. Harry Potter. What's this guy? Wade Watts, Katniss Everdeen. At least some of the more popular ones that have come out as of late. So sure, that's fine. But just keep in mind those things that I've mentioned. I'm sure younger people would probably enjoy it. It depends on, as an adult, what it is that you're willing to put up with. So there it is. I don't know if I call it a rousing endorsement of the book. It was decent. It was fine. It was entertaining. Not something I'm probably going to ever want to read again. If I have a chance, I'll catch the flick. So there you go. So those are my thoughts on Ready Player One. If you've read it and you want to leave me your thoughts, that's fine. If not, give it a shot and let me know what you think. So thank you for stopping by. Hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I hope to see you next time.